Howdy doody folks, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Crazy Karen screams at me in the middle of Walmart. So, I work at a rent-to-own furniture store right down the road from a Walmart. So, come payday, I usually go straight to Walmart after clicking out. Our uniforms are made up of black pants or jeans and various blue shirts. However, our shirts have the company logo embroidered on the top left near the collar. I've been mistaken for an employee a few times, but most people just laugh it off when I tell them I don't work for Walmart. Yesterday though, this Karen wasn't having it. Last night, I was finishing up some last-minute Christmas grocery shopping. I hung around in the electronics section for a little while, waiting for an employee to come help me as I've been interested in getting a new phone. But it's the holiday season and they were absolutely swamped. No big deal. I go to push my cart, filled with a few presents and groceries, and I honestly just want to get out of there because the customer traffic is getting to be a little too much for me. Thanks to my crippling social anxiety, I don't do crowds. I'm trying to gently push past this woman, but her and her cart are right in the middle of the aisle, taking up as much space as she possibly could, and I barely ding the corner of it. "Excuse you?" she says, reeling back and regaining her balance as if I hit her with a brick. Sorry, I mumble. I try to push past her again. "I've been waiting here forever." She's been waiting there maybe a minute. She certainly hadn't been there when I just got there a few minutes before. "There's a video game I need you to get for me." In case you don't know, Walmart keeps all their video games in locked glass cabinets and you need an employee to unlock it for you so they can grab the video game and immediately bring you over to the checkout. The same for controllers, consoles, and accessories. I point to the logo on my shirt. I actually don't work here. I'm at company name. The Karen sighed and tapped her foot. "I don't care if you're on break or whatever, just get me video game." "I can't. I don't work here. You'll have to get an employee." "You are an employee," Karen says, getting louder. "No, I'm a customer, shopping, just like you. I'll be going now." I try once again to push past her. "I know the manager of this store and they won't be happy to hear that their employee is being rather disobedient." This woman rammed her cart into mine to stop me from walking beside her. Instead, I try to turn around and leave that way. She's not having it. "I demand to speak to your manager." I'm on the verge of crying at this point. I just want out of this situation. My manager is at home and I don't work here. I just want to check out and go home. This is what sets her off and when the screaming begins. "I just want video game for my son. It's for Christmas. Why do you want to ruin Christmas for me and my family?" I'm sobbing now. I can't handle people raising their voice at me. "I don't work here." I cry at her. "Yes, you do. Get me video game." One of the employees in the electronics finally got through the line of people they were checking out and came over to investigate. He looks at me, sobbing like a child, and then to the Karen, and his shoulders slump, like he knows what's going on. "What seems to be the problem here?" he asks me. I try my best to explain that this crazy bench is screaming at me and somehow thinks I'm an employee, but I'm blubbering and I can't get out too many words. So Karen takes it upon herself to tell the employee what happened. "Your coworker here is being extremely rude. She's been cursing at me and slammed her cart into mine several times to get me to move. I asked her to get video game for me, but she just told me to F off." "No!" I yell, but that's really all I can manage to choke out. The employee looks down at my shirt and sighs. "Ma'am, this young lady doesn't work here. She's an employee at company name." Karen puts her hands on her hips and rolls her eyes so hard I thought they might roll out of one of their sockets. "I just need someone to get me video game for Christ's sake." The employee leans on my shopping cart. "We're pretty busy over here. I don't know if you're aware, but Christmas is in just 2 days. I'm sorry that we were unable to get to you in a timely manner, but being impatient isn't an excuse to verbally abuse other customers just because their shirts happen to be blue." "You people are insufferable. I'll have you know that I'm friends with that manager and he will be hearing about this. I'll be taking my business to GameStop." She starts to walk away and I think that's the end of it, but no. For her finale, Karen pushes her cart over, sending everything that was in it skidding and sliding across the floor. She stormed off, like Karens do, but not before the employee could wish her a happy holiday. I thanked the employee as soon as I could get the tears to stop flowing, and I checked out as fast as I could. The lesson I learned: not to go to Walmart under any circumstances during the holidays. Update! A lot of people in the comments have been suggesting that I do my shopping online due to my anxiety. Believe me, I used to. However, my therapist suggested that I start doing my shopping in the store as it's detrimental to my mental health to feed my phobias by not facing them. Other than work, I don't go out much, but I've been taking baby steps to do in-store shopping, and every once in a while, I step out of my comfort zone to go see a movie or something with a very small group of friends. First off, good on you for putting in that effort to, fight your anxiety as opposed to submitting to it. I know how hard, stuff like that can be. So yeah, good on you. And also, I don't have much to say, but I'm just gonna guess what store she worked for. Is it Rent-A-Center? This story's called "My Dress Shirt Got Me Fired and Almost Kicked Out of a College Club Fundraising Banquet." This story takes place at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor during the 2015-2016 winter season. My childhood best friend invited my girlfriend and I to come visit him in college for a weekend. He moved into an apartment-style dorm by North Campus at the beginning of that school year. Courtyard for those familiar. His apartment had some space in the living room, which made it easy for people to come visit and stay overnight. The trip itself was amazing. We caught up on a lot of lost time, toured the school, downright beautiful by the way. Sorry, not sorry, Michigan State. Went out to a couple of places on Liberty Street, got wasted at a couple of house parties. My girlfriend had a blast, and we even bought some Michigan hoodies as souvenirs at the Den store. I only wish I tried harder in high school so I could have gone there for engineering. But I digress. The main reason why we came to visit was to attend a fundraising dinner for the Michigan Polish Student Association. My friend and I are Polish. We both were part of Polish student clubs at our schools, and we would march together during the Chicago Polish Independence Day Parade every year. This particular year, his club reserved a room at the Palmer Commons. It looked like any typical banquet hall, filled with tables, a couple of projector screens, and a DJ booth with a big dance floor in the middle. The dress code for the event was formal: dress shirt, pants, shoes, belt, and ties. I decided to wear a black shirt with thin vertical stripes, black pants, and a black belt. Didn't care for a tie. People sat down, the club leaders welcomed everyone, talked about the club, school involvement, thanked and honored key contributors, presented the charity they were fundraising for, blah blah blah, and then everyone clapped. Throughout the event, servers brought out meals and water to the tables for guests to enjoy while they were pretending to pay attention. At some point, my girlfriend noticed that all the servers just so happened to be wearing black dress shirts with thin vertical stripes, black pants, and, wait for it, black belts. You can probably guess where this is going. She got my attention, pointed out the matching outfits between me and the staff, and we laughed it off as some funny coincidence. Someone at our table even made a joke that I should get back to work and take their dirty plates back to the kitchen. We left it at that and didn't think much else of it. For context, there were maybe 20 to 30 plus staff members working around the room. Big event, maybe 200 plus guests. Most staff were students themselves working part-time to fund their college shenanigans. Apart from the 10 to 15 servers that had assigned tables to serve food to, the majority of the staff collectively handled water jugs, bussed tables, and cleaned wherever needed. I doubt they paid enough attention to know everyone working that night, and given the extremely unlikely odds that I was wearing the same exact outfit as them, made it very easy for staff to assume I was one of them. Also, for your information, the school club handled the check-in process and seating assignments for the event. The service and cleaning was handled by the school's facilities department or whatever. Bottom line, there was an apparent disconnect between the club and staff on knowing who was and wasn't a guest. No one wore name tags or wristbands, etc. Anyways, turns out some of the servers saw me sitting at a table, assumed I was part of the crew, and thought I decided to stop working to enjoy the event. It got to the point where servers would give me weird looks as they laid the plates down at our table, but they didn't confront me or say anything since it wasn't their place to do so. Oh, but they definitely made sure to point it out to the managers. multiple times by multiple staff members. At some point between the main course and dessert, while another speech was being given out in the background, someone came up from behind me and placed a hand on my shoulder. Before I had a chance to turn around and react, a male voice said, "I need you to get up and step outside into the hallway with me, right now." His hand slid down to my arm to get a decent grip, and I decided to get up and go along with it. I wasn't too surprised that this was happening, given the circumstances above. We've been treating this as a coincidental joke the whole time, so I thought it was kind of funny that I got the attention of the managers. I'm 6'2" and he was about 5'7" or so with a slim build. It looked like I had about 40 to 50 pounds on him, so I didn't feel uncomfortable with the way he was trying to handle the situation. To him, I probably looked like some tall, fit college bro that screws around all the time. I figured at most I would need to explain that I'm not a staff member, show my ticket for the event that was in my jacket pocket hanging on the chair, and sit back down and we all laugh about it. No harm, no foul, right? Nope. He pointed me to the nearest door and let me lead the way out into the hallway. I figured I'd just wait until we are in the hallway to calmly explain the situation and not cause a scene in front of other guests. I didn't grab my ticket or jacket in time, but whatever. I'm sure he will give me a chance to show him while we talk. My friend and girlfriend thought this was freaking hilarious that this was happening and assumed I would be back in a minute. We make our way into the empty hallway and the manager shuts the doors behind us. All doors had to be closed during the event to keep the noise inside. I asked him to let go of my arm, and he does. Again, before I had a chance to say anything, and without skipping a beat, he starts blaring. "I don't know who the hell you think you are, and I don't know what the hell crossed your mind to think that on your first shift you can decide to take a break and engage with the guests." Sir, please let me— "I don't give a crap what your stupid excuse is. It's common sense that staff don't sit down with the guests and engage with them. I don't care if this is just some part-time job for you while you're studying. I can replace you with 5 more students tomorrow for all I care. You show nothing but laziness, disrespect." During his rant, I noticed a campus security officer turn a corner and walk towards us. Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. The manager keeps going on his rant, again, not letting me speak for myself. When the officer was standing next to us, he gives his big punchline. "No, you're done. Fired. I don't want you in this building. I'm going to put word in with the school and have you barred from working another campus job. You're going to end up explaining to your family why you couldn't last a single shift." Big oof. The officer takes his cue and starts to escort me to the nearest exit. The manager watches us until we turn the corner and goes back inside. I began explaining the situation to the cop from start to finish. At first, he didn't want to believe me and thought I was trying to con my way out of trouble. Eventually, he let me return to the room to grab my ticket along with my driver's license to match the names on both and prove that I'm just a guest. Some more talking later, and after my friend and girlfriend vouched for me, the officer let me be and went off to talk to the manager. I assured the cop that I didn't feel the need to press charges, and we sat back down. Everything else went by normal, and we decided to go out and drink once the formal speeches and food service was over. We came back again the following year for another weekend of fun with another banquet night. I made sure to bring a shirt no service worker would wear. Thankfully, the next banquet was in a different building on campus. I don't know what, if anything, happened to the manager. Probably nothing. I didn't care about pressing charges or making a scene. I just like being able to tell this interesting story. Well, first of all, buddy, I appreciate how understanding you are. That's very nice. Second of all, about the guy being Polish. Polish food is pretty good. It doesn't necessarily look like it, but when I went to the Renaissance Festival, they had like a bunch of Polish food there. It was pretty good. Alright, this story is called I'm Not a Doctor. This happened about 10 years ago. I was 18 and doing my public service. Austria has mandatory military service for all 18-year-old males. If you refuse, you have to serve a longer time in a community project or a government agency. I was with the local police. So stuff happened, and one late evening, my mom was rushed to the hospital. Things were confusing and hectic, so I grabbed whatever was on the drying rack and ran over to the clinic. So there I was, looking for the ward my mom was admitted to, wearing my dad's way oversized white shirt. A woman came over to me and asked where Mrs. XY's room is. I'm very sorry, I don't know who that is. I'm her sister. I want you to tell me at once what you are intending to do about her illness. You must be confusing me with someone who works here. I'm sorry, I'm looking for my mother.
Nonsense, doctor. You clearly work here. I will not let myself be sent away like yesterday. I have the right to know about my sister.
Is it the shirt? His is just a white shirt, not a lab coat.
I want to speak to your superior.
Please do that. I'm not working here. At this point, I just walked away quickly, as I had definitely other stuff on my mind than defending my poor choice of clothing at night. Turns out, I was a bit too early at the hospital and my mom wasn't in the system yet, so nobody could tell me anything. A year later, I passed the entrance exam to medical school and now I'm in my residency. So now maybe I can help you indeed with your relatives, but not my 18-year-old ass with pimples and braces. Seriously, do I look like a surgeon? My mom made a miraculous recovery, by the way. Alright, I'm glad he added that last bit because I was actually kind of wondering. And I don't have much to say other than that, I don't have much to say on this other than that was just your standard stupid Karen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.